Okay, the distance formula. That should be review from geometry as well as your 8th grade algebra class. Distance formula, x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. I don't know if you recognize it, but that comes from a formula that you already know. Do you know a formula that you already know that comes from?
Midpoint.
Close. Actually, not close, but something you learned in geometry. Person's name. It's a theorem.
Pythagoras theorem.
Yeah, if you notice, the Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, right? So notice that if you take the square root of both sides, you get the square root of a squared plus b squared is equal to c. That's what you have here. C is equal to the square root of a squared plus b squared. Distance formula is just Pythagorean theorem. That's all it is. We don't just make these things up. They come from other things at work. Midpoint formula. What's the middle between 8 and 10?
9.
9. How do you get that? You take 8 plus 10 to get 18. You divide it by 2 to get 9. The midpoint formula, you add the x values and you divide by 2. You add the y values and you divide by 2. This is the midpoint. You're going to have to do it on the test. You've had those before. Make sure you get them right. Today we have notes. We have the front and the back. You'll be able to get to your assignment. The front page is reviews. The back page is not, but it's not too difficult. This example says plot a pair of points and then find the distance between them and then find the midpoint of the segment that joins them. So I'm going to plot these. It doesn't have to be a perfect graph. Just going to draw it well enough so that I can kind of assess the reasonableness of my answer. And the coordinate is -2, +4. And I have another coordinate which is 3, -6. And I connect those points. Everybody okay with that? All right, let's do the distance formula. Distance is equal to the square root of x sub 2, which is 3, minus x sub 1, which is -2, quantity squared, plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1, quantity squared. If you square something, it will become positive. So 3 minus -2 is 5, and 5 squared is 25. -6 minus 4 is -10. -10 squared is 100. Please do not write -100. I will put my spoon into my eye when I'm grading your test. I get the square of 125. That can be simplified to the square root of 25 times the root of 5. Or in other words, 5 roots of 5. That's the distance. If you can simplify the radical, make sure you do that on the test. The midpoint formula, we're going to make that as simple as possible. Notice it says add the x values and divide by 2. So I'm going to add these x values to get 1 and divide by 2 to get a half. I add the y values and divide by 2. -6 plus 4 is -2. Divided by 2 is -1. Just add the x's, divide by 2, add the y's, divide by 2. And now I'm going to check the reasonableness of my solution. If I plot the coordinate 1/2, -1, does that look like it is approximately the midpoint? Yeah, so if you have a little bit of time on your test and you want to be able to check to see if you got it right, go ahead and plot it and see if it works out.
It literally looks right.
It literally looks right, even figuratively. Go ahead, letter B. Do it on your own.
A triangle.
Don't go to example 2, just go over to B.
I don't know how to do that.
No, I was just thinking of the wrong formula or something.
There's the quadratic formula, which is divided by 2a.
Yes.
Is that? I did tortellini last night with cheesy bread.
What, does that not sound good?
What'd you do, Wedge?
It was some kind of pasta. It was delicious. I don't really know what it was, but it was delicious.
Give me another 40 seconds here. We're gonna go over the two together. Okay, please pause. Underneath here, you should get 25 and 144 for 13. I want to try to show you something that's going to save you time in the long run. And first hour did not remember this very well, and if you don't, that's fine. But I will tell you, you're going to use it a lot during this class, and definitely on the ACT. Everybody see the segment that I drew there, and the fact is, it does make a triangle, doesn't it? Tell me, what is the distance to go from -3 to +2? How many units do I go from -3 to +2? 5. So it's a triangle with the bottom of 5. And then how many units do you go to get from -1 to 11? From -1 up to 11, it's 12 units. So this is a 5, 12, 13 right triangle. Do you remember your Pythagorean triples from your geometry days? How about this one? 3, 4, 5. Do you remember the 3, 4, 5 triple? That means that 3 squared plus 4 squared is equal to 5 squared, or 9 plus 16 is equal to 25. So it works out for 3, 4, 5. It works out for 5, 12, 13. It works out for 8, 15, 17. And it works out for 7, 24, and 25. And actually, the ACT has a standard where they want you to actually memorize those. It doesn't mean you have to memorize it for the test in order to get the problem right, but it reduces the amount of time it takes you in the problems. So knowing those, very, very helpful piece. So this is a 5, 12, 13 triangle. As far as the midpoint's concerned, you should have -1/2, and then you should have +5. And if you plot it back 1/2 and up 5 units, notice that it looks right like the midpoint. So you're good to go. The next question is basically straight from an ACT. I'm going to sketch the graph of this triangle. It says it's formed by the following coordinates, 2, 2. So I have that coordinate 2, 2. I have -3, +2. And then I have 5, 6. There. I get it. Like, we don't remember everything from Geometry Algebra 2 in this class. We do a fair amount of referencing back to those pieces, and you don't always necessarily have to know them for the test, but trust me, the ACT, that will come up whether you like it or not, and if you don't remember it, you're getting the problems wrong. So we're going to classify this triangle, talk to the person next to you. What kind of triangle do you think it is? Or even better yet, what are the different types of triangles that you can even classify something to be? Talk, what do you come up with? Yeah.
Obtuse? Yeah, definitely not obtuse.
What's that in?
Equilateral is all three of the same. It's a skater. Well, dude,
Two of them.
How do you memorize?
Isosceles.
You could give them
Oh.
Okay, so I'm going to show you how to navigate through this problem really, really quickly, okay? And I actually want you to glance at the second part as well, which is what's the area of a triangle, or this triangle? Does everybody agree that looking at this, that looks like a pretty tough problem? We're going to make it super simple. First of all, out of these options, what kind of triangle is that? Well, we're going to try to show that it is isosceles, but it is in fact isosceles. Isosceles means that two of the sides are the same. Everybody agree it's not equilateral? Scalene means that none of the sides are the same. This is not a right triangle. It is definitely obtuse in terms of having an obtuse angle. So we're going to try to show that it is isosceles, and we need to show that two of the sides are the same. Now watch my trick. Again, this is going to happen as the year goes on. We want you to build off of this. What is this length here?
5.
5. Yeah, we went from -3 to +2. Everybody agreed?
Yeah.
Now, some people might say, I know how to do that problem because I could find this length because this is 5, 6, and this coordinate here is 2, 2. So I can use the distance formula. Don't use the distance formula. The distance formula is the same thing as what?
A squared plus B.
Which is called the Pythagorean theorem. Just make a triangle. What's the length of the bottom leg of my triangle?
4.
3, good. How about this leg right here? So we're going to go from 2 up to 6. We're going from 2 up to 6. This is 4. Hey, I've got a right triangle with legs 3 and 4. What's the hypotenuse?
5.
5, because you recognize it's a Pythagorean triple.
Oh.
All of a sudden, we've got 5 and 5. We know it's isosceles. Now, look at how easy the next question is. What's the area? Area is equal to 1/2 times the length of the base times the length of the height. By the way, you got to remember that formula. They don't give you that kind of a formula in the ACT. You got to know area is 1/2 base times height. So area is equal to 1/2. What is the length of the base of the red triangle? 5. And now that I drew the triangle next to it, what is the height
5.
of the red triangle?
5. Oh, 4.
4.
Sorry.
So you got 5 times 4 is 20, 1/2 is 10. All of a sudden we took what was a complicated problem with just drawing a right triangle off the side. We made it super easy. Pretty efficient?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Flip it over. This is new, it's not tough. It's new, it's not tough.
That was geometry we just had there. I love shapes. No, I don't love shapes, actually.
I don't either. I really hate shapes.
These are geometry type formulas that relate pieces of the circle. For example, diameter is twice the radius, circumference is 2 pi r, area is pi r squared. That's all stuff that you should try to commit to memory, okay? Depending on kind of score you want on the ACT. That's stuff we want to familiarize ourselves with. When we say equation for a circle, we're not referring to an equation like that for a circle. We're wondering if you were to graph a circle. For example, y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, and y equals mx plus b. Is everybody familiar with those two equations? And we use those when you're graphing what? So it's an L rhymes with ein. Lines. When we're graphing lines, we use those equations. Well, what if we were to graph a circle? What does the equation for a circle look like? And it looks like this. Given that the center is hk and the radius is r, the form is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. Now, don't freak out, because right away you're like, wow, there's a lot of letters in there, and I'm struggling to make sense of that. We're going to make it really, really simple here in a second. Remember that when you're writing an equation for a line, you put the x value here, you put the y value there, you put the slope right there, and you got your equation for your line. It's the same thing with the circle. Your x value goes in for h, your y value goes in for k, and then you take r and you square it. That's all you have to do. So, for example, for letter A, it says write an equation for a circle with the properties. If the center is -3, 2, the -3 goes in for that h. So it's x minus -3 quantity squared.
Gosh, dang it.
Plus 2 goes in for y. It's y minus 2 quantity squared is equal to 4 squared. We don't leave the equation like that. We do write it instead of x minus -3, we write it as x plus 3, and we write it as y minus 2. Instead of 4 squared, we do write 16. That's the equation. Don't FOIL them out and try to combine terms or something like that. Just leave it like it is. Here's what we could tell about this circle. It has a center of not 3, but -3. And the y value not -2, but +2. Notice how it's opposite. Everybody see the opposite? And then the radius is 4. It's the square root of that. So look at the next one. You tell me. The center, the x value is 0. So how do you think our formula starts out? X minus 0, which is just x. So it's just x squared. And then the y value is a -5. So is it going to be y plus 5 or y minus 5? Y plus 5. Yep, the opposite. And then the radius is 1/2. We have to square that. What's a half times a half? Good. The next one, the center, it starts with 3. So it's x what? -3. Good. The y value is 0. So it's going to be y squared. And then we have 3 roots of 2. I got to square 3 roots of 2. That means you take 3 roots of 2 times 3 roots of 2. 3 times 3 is 9. And the root of 2 times the root of 2 is root of 4, which is 2. And I get a total of 18. That's all right, Wedge.
No, it's not.
You're the dog. You're the beast. In you we trust, man. Keep it going. So, our last piece before we try these couple problems. If a circle has a center of 0, 0, okay, notice how it's 0 here and 0 there. If a circle has a center of 0, 0, the equation is x squared plus y squared is r squared. What does that look like?
Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah. The formula for a circle just comes from the Pythagorean theorem. That's all it is. Just like the distance formula. They're all connected. So when I ask you question A on the test, you're all going to get this right. What is the center of this circle? 3, -2. What is the radius of this circle? 4. Get those points. That's supposed to be simple. I've never seen an ACT test that does not have a question about the formula for a circle on it. Never seen one that doesn't. Next one, center is?
0, -3.
Good. And the radius, I do the square root of 48. Does anybody know the perfect square that divides evenly into 48? 16.
Oh,
16 goes in 3 times, and we get 4 roots of 3. So I'm assuming from everybody here that if you were asked questions from example 5 or example 6, you'd be like, hey, I could get those right. Hey, thanks, Mr. Gens, those are free, easy points, right? Okay, I told you I'm always transparent about what you're going to have on the test. You're going to have to do an example like number 7 on the test. Looking at this, I don't know what the center is because it's not in the form, is it? So we're going to put it in the form. And in order to put it in the form, we must have a completed square. Did you, in this class, learn at some time how to complete a square? We're going to use that right now. I'm going to gather my x's. I'm going to gather my y's. And I'm going to put that number, -7, added over to the other side. So I maintained balance in my equation, but the question is, what is it that I add to complete the square? Talk to the person next to you. What 2 numbers do you add to complete the squares in those situations? Come up with it. Go.
16. Remember?
Oh. I think that's
Okay, I've got 16 and 36. I take the 8 and divide it by 2 to get 4. I square it to get 16. I take the 12, divide it by 2 to get 6. I square it to get 36. If you add it to the left side, you add it to the right side. So we got 16 and 36 as well. So again, our goal is to put it in the form of a completed square. X minus 4 quantity squared. Y minus 6 quantity squared is equal to, I have 7 and 16 is 23, and then I add 36 to that, and I get 59. Now it's in a great form. I can go ahead and identify the center. What is the center of that circle? 4, 6. And the radius is simply the square root of 59. Because you can't simplify that square root. That wasn't too bad, was it? Nope. New though, isn't it? Yep. Our next one, you have x squared, but we don't have anything that pairs with the x squared.
So it's x squared, 0.
So 0 is going to be the x value for the center. Then we have y squared, we have a minus 6y, we have equals 7. You go ahead and see the problem the rest of the way through, put it in the right form, identify the center and the radius. You're super smart, you're the best of the best. Make it happen. John, what's it like having the coolest boots in the school?
What?
Is everybody else just jealous of your boots? Heard Zoe just talking yesterday. She wants a pair of boots like you.
What did you say about that, John?
I've got a center equal to 0, 3, and I've got a radius that's equal to 4. You good? Sweet. Last question. Find an equation for a circle whose center is -1, 2, and passes through the point 7, -13. I don't expect you to do this whole problem on your own. I simply want you to take about a minute, and I want you to talk to the person. How would you go about solving this? Like, what would you do? Talk to the person next to you. What would you do to try to come up with an answer here? Go ahead.
That's what I probably think. I'm probably wrong.
Equation.
I probably put it into whatever this one is. What do you think, Chase?
Yep.
Well, it's not a line. I think you put it into this form. And then.
What are we missing?
So that's for the center. And then how would you find the center?
I got 5 more points after 2.
That's the best you ever tried. There's no way. There's no way.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. You have the center. I hope that you were able to come up with x plus 1 squared times y minus 2 squared. You don't have the radius. I think that sometimes mathematicians get lost in not drawing a picture. I think it's helpful to visualize it. If you need to draw a picture, again, we have the center of -1, 2. We have a point at 7, -13. So how would I go about finding the radius? I would find the distance from the 2 points, from the center to the outside. Now, as you have that, okay, you could use the distance formula. Or, watch this. Again, I'm trying to save you guys time. So I'm not trying to confuse you. I'm trying to save you time in the process. I'm just going to use the Pythagorean theorem because I know that that's the same thing as the distance formula. Because I bet that this problem has something special set up for me. What's the distance from -1 over to 7?
8.
8. What's the distance from 2 to -13?
15.
15. Oh, I got a triangle, a right triangle with 8 and 15. Is that a special one?
17.
17 is going to be that side.
Because of the whatever.
The Pythagorean triples.
Yeah, the triples.
Oh, on the other side. Just to be clear, if you set up 8 squared plus 15 squared equals c squared, you do get 64 plus 225 is equal to c squared, or in other words, 289 is equal to c squared. That means c is equal to 17, or c is 17, okay? So, my final answer, notice it's not r, it's r squared. So what number goes on the end here? 289 goes on the end here. Mr. Gantz, you're struggling. Let's go. That's that. You're ready to do your next assignment in your homework. I do have answer key posted up here. I also have all the answers posted online. You have about 10 minutes. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but you could very possibly get the front page done. I'm here to answer questions for you as well about your inequalities if you have them. Again, we will not be able to test next week, but right now we'll go for Tuesday of the following week. 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have to necessarily flip it. Then, here's what you can do, okay? So the sign was a less than 0. So this is also just a less than 2. If you multiply it through by -1, x minus 1 over x minus 2 times.
Is it oh, yeah.
I just forgot. My bad. When did you catch up when you checked the answer key?
He just got commented for.
Anything?
Good job. Yep.
Who is?
Oh, big dog.
Confused on, these two.
Positive, negative.
Yeah, hey, good job. You got a lot of good stuff here. What we're gonna do, just a small mistake is just right here. So you have x squared minus 4, and then you're subtracting this. So as you multiply that out, we've got, x times x is our x squared, and then -1 times x is -1x, 3 times x is 3x, that makes it positive 2x, right? So, x squared plus 2x, then I got -1 times 3 is -3, so minus 3. So, you have x squared minus x squared is 0.
The homework.
Yeah.
You have -2x, so 4x is the same, -2x. And you have -4 minus a -3. Minus -3, -1. So it's, yes. Excellent, good job. So you have x and x makes 2x. 2 and 1 makes 3. At the bottom, you have your x plus 1, and you have your x plus 2. So that means, yep, you plot your -1, your -2, and then this would be -1. You got it. 1 second. So -4 minus -3.
More like 10, but still.
That's a -1.
You probably have about 10.
-1. So we had -1/2. Sorry about that. Hi.
I'm struggling with like after I do the graph, I don't know. If it's like, I don't know, if like I want environments like this, or it's like this, or it's like
You are?
3.
Okay.
Only on white lines.
So you have 2 negatives. Good. 1 negative.
That's crazy.
Good. Now we look at our setup. The question is.
Just so you know.
I just want to go here. I think we talked, yes, sir, we talked about that.
He doesn't want to be
I got it in your mind. That our
think it's from
east this way.
What do you think? Should I take the step frame off right?
Yeah.
I think
That was great.
yeah, I'm gonna do that now.
So-
the worst thing is it's bolted on one part, but the other part is welded on.
Yeah, that's why I see people come around.
We're gonna have to take a grinder to part of that and just like make it my steps from my
2 minus
side steps.
Usually have the
X.
Yeah.
It's a grandpa stuff.
Chrome rim.
Suppose that you switch those around by
I just want to grind it flat, it's gonna
So you
look
got
like it'll look one.
that's what you know.
As long as I don't like leave it.
So you gotta put that.
I see the word, both the faces hanging down.
Yeah, they're popping that, right? Yeah, I think when I was like,
So now,
But
you have two problems, so we got.
putting in hitch on and then like receiving.
So I think we're going with
Yeah.
this
Two buttons and we just have to climb. My old one was like,
So
some
the problem we call
the hitch doesn't come out of the receiver. It's running.
Just break this down, that down. So
That's
you
what
have
my truck is like.
X plus three.
They do that, you do, so if your solutions, you get like rear ended, a hitch. Like,
Oh, yeah.
rear end your hitch, like, okay.
And then you're gonna have.
Acting up.
So then you're
I
gonna
thought-
make a line.
I thought I was in the normal spot.
Alright, now.
Right? And I was in the handicap
Now.
spot.
Oh,
So I didn't
so
know if
it's like
I was
a-
looking for the post behind me.
Yeah,
I nailed the post with my
It would just be a red zero rack.
Because I didn't expect there to be a pole, so I was looking because I thought I was in a normal spot. And I nailed the handicap. Like, what's wrong? Handicap. I just boom. I was like praying to stop my bumper.
So now do zero.
So then
Point
we're
zero.
zero.
It makes it even more.
Positive. Positive.
No, the parking lot outside this
column.
A positive and a positive, right? So then, since the equation is greater than, you're gonna do a positives, yes. So then you got,
This column.
no.
Yeah.
So this is negative.
Good.
This is positive,
And then,
this is positive.
Yep.
Positives.
yeah,
Okay, what's a negative times a negative?
it says equals, so we have to go back and look, what numbers produce zero
thinking, count these and however many more.
and two. Negative one,
See,
two,
in
correct.
government, that's right. Yeah,
How are we doing?
That's all right.
We got 9, so it's, so we can just subtract it.
What's a negative times a negative?
Right now.
Here you go, 5 minus 2,
So if you have
which
an
is
even
correct.
negative,
Then
so you have to
it's
actually
minus
the whole thing is positive.
We just did 2 minus 2.
So the,
I grabbed this first.
pretty much.
2 minus 3.
And then I wrote down
So I'm
Positive 1.
what's a, you
Bad.
got all the
That's where I started my circle.
This is basically what you're looking for. You're doing negative to infinity, this whole time, single two to infinity. So that's easy, so just do negative 5.
Decent.
And then plug negative 5 in for x.
Exactly.
So we plug it in for x. Okay, I didn't know what to do. Yep.
So old road, gotta do that one.
Old road.
is that you blowing through the line and sacking that quarterback? Man, you're going fast. I also had the playback speed of 1.5, so go fast.
That's what he's gonna do for his highlight reel.
Speed them up a little bit. Good.
Yeah, that's it.
You're looking for the positives, so that would be.
You breakfast?
Breakfast.
Yeah.
Sweet. Bagel? Paradise? Breakfast? No? Easy to make breakfast?
Yeah, it's sure.
Easton,
breakfast.
Easton, what do you think about Shane?
What?
Like breakfast was warming up.
Kira, do you eat breakfast?
What do you think about Shane?
What do you eat?
Oh, I heard
Pop-Tart? That was the most common response in the first
I
hour.
can't see it, but you can.
He said they really like the brown sugar Pop-Tart. Or the strawberry ones. S'mores? I said that and somebody said, no way. The what? Oh, rotisserie ones. My daughter likes bagels and she likes to put like a strawberry cream cheese on it.
Yeah,
I got one.
Blueberry cream cheese?
Yeah.
you gotta have the same rate you bang
Cinnamon raisin? See, I'm not a raisin guy. Raisins?
That's literally what it sounds.
The only way I want raisins is in like trail mix.
Yeah, it's pretty good trail mix.
Yeah.
Have you ever had
Is that not
cinnamon
salty?
raisin bagel?
Yeah, that's brutal. Give me a bunch of M&Ms with them. My trail mix, I like to have my trail mix, I'll just dump a big bag of M&Ms over the bag and spice it up a little bit.
Is it really?
See you later, Jake. I got a picture again.
Good luck at cross country, Jackson.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I wish Alec good luck too.
Yes.
Hopefully he doesn't trip.
I know, I hope.
Mara, have a good one. Austin, good luck tonight. I want to hear all about it. Scooter! Gonna go run at Mayo. Hey, hey, come here. How much faster did you run at Fairfield? I told you you're gonna run your best time. Look at that, 3 minutes faster, 3-minute PR. Hey, don't worry about it. Let's go. Right, Stella? Rocking the air conditioning today, I like it.
Hey, I see that.
That's zero work on our church. Oh, me and Danny haven't done anything either.
Yeah, he's been texting me a little bit, being like, "Hey guys, are you almost finished with your project?"
Are you guys almost finished?
It's like an actual. What day are you doing? Like 10-6. We got like a month.
Me and Danny are 10-20.
Hello, everybody. I have not done my notes yet for the reading.
It's
I
alright.
have not started my outline. I have not started the Hades book.
You haven't started the
I
outline?
hate school. I hate this. It's miserable. I'm gonna be up till 2 tonight reading
Are you
and
going to volleyball?
Wait, no outline?
no, because I have a game tonight. So I'm gonna be reading it on the bus and while I'm watching the JV game. And then on the bus ride back, I'm gonna be reading. And I'm gonna get home and I'm gonna need to work on my outline.
You didn't receive your 40 pages yesterday.
Nope, I haven't started.
Hey Ben, how far are you?
I am
Wait,
confident I can do a page a minute though, and so,
I think you can go faster than that.
yeah, but then comprehension goes down.
It don't matter.
No,
You gotta write
it kind of does.
60,
I read the whole
60% of the stuff.
I read the whole
you have to
thing
wait
and I didn't get any of the quizzes. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're cooked. You're cooked. I am very
I went through the
confident in
quiz
my
letting you
reading
about
comprehension ability.
and I read it.
Academic comeback time. And
Just
this
do the
is
job
time
as
for
you
that.
hated it.
I said there's no comeback right now. I have all A's. Like I'm above 95%.
So you can
every
only go
single
down
class.
from here.
Yeah, this is academic downfall right now, guys. It's bad.
I have a B- in personal finance, and literally when I checked
I
it,
hate personal finance.
second hour, I had an
hate
A.
personal finance. Personal finance, one of my least favorite classes ever in the history of high school.
Okay,
Up there with CG last year. I'm
I
not
love
gonna
CG
lie.
vibe, go!
math and
Don't
stuff, but
disrespect.
no,
What?
my teacher.
I
When you know if you have him by yourself.
I had Jeffrey, and
Yeah, everyone
this
did
is what he did
like
every day. He put on a video that we watched.
Please don't talk.
He didn't do any actual teaching. It was Dave Ramsey teaching us.
Dave
And then the Sims. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
we do.
I
And she was
hated
reading
those
our
Sims.
Sims, and I got a .04 on my
You know
sim.
the
I got a
answer.
100% on that sim. I did not get
Zero. She
.04.
got
He would call
.04.
them-
That's better than those questions.
And I got
Out of
100%.
100?
Yeah, so it's at a 1.
She got 4%.
Oh,
I'm
on
sorry.
that. She got 4%.
I got 100% on that sim.
I wanted to try every day.
I never took
thinking
personal
about
finance.
going.
I'm literally gonna be like, you need to raise my grade because this is
It's not awful, but low key.
a B minus.
It's no.
Yeah.
It's not awful, but
Minus. I put sophomore.
I've been A- in the class that
We're gonna
I'm
finish it
rated by
Monday.
me, alright? I
Like,
grade,
like, what is
my
the
mentorship
purpose of
class,
the sets?
all of our
You
work is
have
graded by
to work
ourselves.
on the document.
How?
You have an A minus self-graded.
I give myself a 4 every time, and she does not like that.
Sure. I never lived extra work.
It's not extra, it's the study
Wait,
guide.
what class is that?
I don't,
What
I
class?
didn't say anything about it. I'm so glad I didn't.
Why did he tell us?
Mentorship is a great class. We set a panel yesterday on
You
the.
tell your class about a study guide.
I don't wanna sit down.
Economics
guys.
room
I
needs
really
to get
don't
some
wanna sit
AC.
down.
I sat in there like a chicken in the incubator. It was so hot.
She was a chicken in
I
an
literally,
incubator.
I mean, that's the best analogy ever.
Chicken in an incubator.
an egg in the incubator, whatever.
I think an egg in an incubator.
Not bad. What comes first, the chicken or the egg?
The egg.
Something was.
I mean, like, the first egg was before the chicken.
Actually,
What came first, the
Oh, like
chicken egg? The
the
chicken egg or
The
the
chicken
chicken?
was formed before
What
the
came
egg.
first, the chicken egg or the chicken?
The chicken egg.
No, because the first egg was before the chicken.
Yeah, but the chicken's inside the egg.
I feel like it was.
Oh.
Not the eggs you eat.
Then the egg, then the chicken came first because otherwise what laid the egg?
Too many times.
Or like eggs ever in the history of the world, eggs came first before chickens.
No?
Yes? Like eggs ever, all eggs versus
Yeah, they
chickens.
come from chickens. I don't.
No,
How would
there's
eggs
other
just be
eggs though,
created?
there's other eggs, like
Like
lizard
How would
eggs,
eggs
you got fish
So eggs
eggs.
just popped up in the world without any lizards or any chickens?
No, I think a fish laid the first egg.
I agree with that.
So eggs didn't pop up.
Where'd the fish come from?
It cloned itself because something had to lay the eggs, so
Where'd the
then
clone
it
come
came
from?
first. The clone came from another clone. I don't know where the first like life came from.
Underwater
Wasn't it like it was
volcanoes.
underwater volcano?
And it's
but
all
wasn't
the
it, like life
it's all
or
the
something
it's all the
too?
nutrient-rich mixture coming out from the hot water. Not too hot. It's those the white smoke ones.
Where did the nutrient-rich hot water come from?
Meteors.
The Big Bang.
That's
Where
what
did
Big
water
Bang.
came from.
Where
The
did the
Big
meteors
Bang.
come from?
The Big
Outer
Bang.
space. From the
Where did
exploding star.
Where did the exploding star come from?
From the Big
other
Bang.
Exploding stars.
From a condension of
And where
gases
did that come
and then
from?
something. The Big
Uh,
Bang.
Big Bang.
That's the big breath. The Big Bang right now.
We'll be back to that.
And where did the bang come from?
Calculus. Hey guys, it's a loop to calculus. I found it.
Archimedes.
It's the answer, Archimedes.
No, this is an important point. Because you have to accept one of two things to be true. Either time and the existence of the universe is infinite, which contradicts all laws of nature. Second law of thermodynamics, everything works to a state of ruin. Or there must be intelligent design. The number one question that all scientists come across, right? Intelligent design, what does that look like? Everybody can debate, so on and so forth. This is a religion class, but in a science class, without a doubt, the question is the universe in time infinite in its existence, or was there intelligent design? That something must have put things into motion.
Like a greater power.
The existence of I will say a God, to not be too specific in terms of, say, Christian thoughts, but and that's why about 70% of scientists say, as they rationale through this, they say there must be some type of thing that started it all. You know what I mean? Big question.
Makes my head hurt. Can we go to calculus now?
Yeah, sure. State the precise definition of limit.
I don't know it.
And then on the back side, just prove that the limit of x goes to -2 of 5x minus 3 is equal to -15. Use your epsilons and deltas. Let there be a function.
Guys, I gotta do this.
Isn't the full thing like the
Yep.
absolute?
Yeah, you can do it, Abby. Abby, don't frown. It's not
I'm
good for you.
looking at the.
No, Abby, that's cheating. Stop right now. Don't look.
I don't remember the second part.
Abby, you just made my week. Every time I get sad now, all I'm gonna do is just picture you baking in an incubator.
No, his class is so hot. I don't understand how he does it. And it's just like, you just feel like,
Then.
has anyone else in economics?
It's terrible.
Is it
It's like 80 degrees.
less than or greater than 0?
And he's like used to it. I'm like,
I'm sorry, greater than 0. Yeah, the
Mr.
epsilon,
Gens?
sorry, the epsilon must be positive, yep. So it was a delta.
Wait, no, I lost my train of thought. Oh, wait, never mind. What second part of what? How far did you get?
Like ask them delta.
Oh, there's a second part?
That satisfies absolute value.
Oh, is that the one? Wait, what is it? That satisfies?
I just looked.
Wait, is it the epsilon less than 0 or the epsilon greater than 0?
The epsilon, the thing
It-
wants to eat the E.
So
Oh, it's the for every
There must
epsilon
be-
greater than 0.
there exists an
That's the
epsilon
only
greater
way I
than
know how to
0.
It's
do it.
greater, okay.
But then for the second part, it's less.
Did Callie Noble dye her hair?
Oh my gosh, I usually kind of will die.
Yeah, she
Wait.
died.
Wait.
She died.
I got this
I
part.
think she
but then-
straightened her hair.
Are you gonna dare me to time?
Is it lighter or darker?
I don't know. I just always feel like when girls does something to her hair, we're supposed to notice. So I told her I liked her hair today, but I can't tell what she did. But she was happy when I told her I liked her hair today, so she must have done something.
Safe bet.
I don't know, I haven't seen her today, I'll have
Okay.
to look.
I
Wait.
saw her do it, but I didn't
What's the
see
second
her.
part of it? Can someone help me? I got this far.
Oh, I gotta do the second one.
Grant, you wanna join track,
When the,
please?
Why?
We need another
I
four-by
don't know.
I have
This
a
is
feeling
really
you'd be
good.
the best.
I
I'm not that
remember
bad.
some, but I don't remember the
Yeah,
very start.
4 by it's all
I don't remember
mindset.
the very
It's just
start.
the word.
Mindset?
Mindset, it's how miserable can you be at the end of the race?
Oh, I'm good at that.
Yes,
and
sir.
intermediate?
Remember
Yeah,
the
we
very,
got that
very
last. Do we have to do the new one as well, or no?
Yes!
The new part, the one with like the
So
absolute
now I
value.
don't correct myself less than
I
epsilon.
would be,
Yeah, do we have to do that? Okay.
about
I don't remember the words for that, but I remember the whatever.
let a limit exist. Don't say it till you write it on the paper, but I don't know what the rest is. I don't know either. I told you I started on the one defined.
What's up? Two.
She's kind of.
Wait, I kind of forgot how to do a
Oh.
proof. I got like the words.
Let's be honest right now, I don't remember anything. And I'm just looking back.
One of my favorite things, you
I got
guys, you guys are the smartest of the smarts, you're the best of the best. And I
Why can't
love,
I think of the answer?
I love to see you guys get a little bit confused, it means you're being
I can't
challenged.
think of anything we've done.
This is good.
Honestly.
Wait, inside the things, do I have to write the thing?
Yep, inside the things, you need to write the thing.
Do you actually know what I'm talking about?
Yep,
Really?
What's the other one?
inside the absolute value signs,
You need to write the
you need
numbers?
to write,
The numbers.
or you just write
Minus
f of
three.
x minus l.
Backside.
Well, don't I write the numbers in there too? For the proof?
Oh yeah, for the proof, yeah, definitely.
Yes. So you didn't get what I was saying?
Hannah, I can't remember Little Schumacher's name.
Lauren?
That's right.
Lauren.
It's negative.
So she takes care of the evening chores,
Oh.
Not most of the time, but she does.
okay?
Okay.
I asked her if she helped with morning chores today. She said, no, she does evening chores. And I said, what are you gonna do when Hannah leaves? And she shrugged her shoulders. She says, I don't know.
She's robbing it up and roll, and then she's gonna have to make Jackson do the evening chores.
Okay. Just want to make sure, each day I'll ask her, make sure she's
When
keeping
she
up
gets
on
her
it.
license.
Is she a math genius?
Yes.
All right.
I forgot how to do the proof.
Give you all about a
missed that
minute and a half
entire-
longer, minute and a half longer.
I don't think that's right.
I missed. No, but I didn't put this in there at all. I forgot.
How'd you do, Big Bird?
No.
You normally just like lie into a concrete wall. In the past.
What are we saying right now?
I don't know.
Yeah, for your last statement at the end, I'd like you to add 2 more steps. I'll show, yeah, I'll show you.
Yeah, that's what it is. I don't think so.
No, but what you
Show
wrote down for
that the
first
absolute
is
value of
definitely
x
more.
minus
Right, so there's kind of.
No,
L is less than
on
epsilon
that
when x minus a is less than delta.
He actually is really good. He actually helps me. Please. Sure, we got a freaking 25% on the noodles. And then 2. I got.
All right, let's check it out. Score the first part out of 3. Let there be a function defined on an interval, but maybe not at point A. Then the limit as x approaches a of f of x equals L, if for every epsilon greater than 0, there is a delta greater than 0. That satisfies the absolute value of f of x minus L is less than epsilon whenever the absolute value of x minus a is less than delta. Good. So score that out of 3, however you did, and then we move to the proof. The proof, find an appropriate delta for absolute value of 5x minus 3 plus 13 is less than epsilon whenever the absolute value of x plus 2 is less than delta. And so you work this through to find your delta. 5x plus 10 is less than epsilon. Factor out the 5. X plus 2 is less than epsilon. And isn't that beautiful that we always come up with this thing right here? We got the x plus 2 and x plus 2. That means we choose delta to be equal to epsilon divided by 5, excuse me. That's all we have to do. Then for the second step, we need to show that, in fact, the absolute value of f of x minus the limit is less than epsilon whenever the absolute value of x minus a is less than delta. And your work is all right here. This is what I'm looking to see. Absolute value of 5x minus 3 plus 13. That way I could see that you have the function and the limit. Then please make the step 5x plus 10. Then please make the step 5 times x plus 2. Now, I don't see an absolute value of, or 5 times the absolute value of x plus 2 up here, other than this spot. But right here, okay, if I just simply multiply both sides by 5, notice 5 times the absolute value of x plus 2 is less than 5 delta. The other day when I was doing your proof, I failed to put the delta in there. The delta really should be there because now at this point we can substitute what for delta? Epsilon over 5. And as you multiply those, you get epsilon, and you can go ahead and end your proof. Score that out of 3. Total of 6. I'll take these from you. Take out your notes. We have an easy lesson today. And tomorrow we have some algebra.
Well, actually,
On Monday and Tuesday of next week, you have time to work on homework and your study guide. Your test is on Wednesday, which means you should have a nice light week during homecoming.
Homecoming's next week.
No, the following week. So if we have a test next week, Wednesday, that means you won't have a test then the week of homecoming.
Okay.
Do you want to, should we write Nevaeh's name and give her a score of 0? So
yes. Is that how she writes her name?
Thank you.
Got it. Median. What's that, Lucy calls it?
I do know that the checkpoints do cut into our time a little bit. If I look historically at classes, the classes that perform better on the test are the classes that we get more checkpoints in. So we do want to do that from time to time. Tomorrow we'll do, this was a longer one, tomorrow we'll do a short one on continuity, see if you remember anything about continuity. So go ahead and take out your notes as we look at this next piece, which is called the intermediate value theorem. Intermediate value theorem is a continuation of continuity. It is a continuation of continuity. We aren't going to do all the notes. We're just going to do the most important parts. We could spend about 3, 4, 5 days on intermediate value theorem. We're just going to spend one, just make sure we touch the important parts of it. And the intermediate value theorem starts out very simply as this. Let f is a function, or let it be continuous on AB. Yesterday, we talked about continuity and how important it is to calculus. Now that we can talk about continuous functions, and remember the stupid definition was a function is continuous if you can draw it without picking up the pencil. Okay, that's our stupid definition. Okay, and once we have talked about continuity, then this is the first thing that arises from continuity in theoretical mathematics. Basically, it just says, let's start at A and let's go to B. And I'm going to pick a point where the function's defined at A, and I'm going to pick a point where the function is defined at B. Such that this is f of A, and this is f of B. Everybody okay with that? That's our premise that we're starting with. So I need a volunteer here who's going to help me out. Thank you, Clara. So Clara, you're going to tell me when to stop moving my pen up and down, okay? I'm going to move it up and down between f of A and f of B, and you just have to tell me when you picked a spot that I should just stop, okay? All right?
Stop.
Okay, right there. Everybody okay? I'm going to call that n. It's just some number. And I'm going to draw a line across here, all right? The most basic way of talking about the intermediate value theorem is this. It says that if I'm going to draw a continuous function from this point to this point, I'm going to have to cover every single y value between f of A and f of B. So we're going to put it to the challenge. Clara here, she has picked this as being our y value. I'm going to try to draw a graph that doesn't cross over that line and still gets to that spot. Okay? You ready?
You can't do it.
There we go.
That's not a function.
A, it's not a function, doesn't pass the vertical line test. B, it still does cross over n, doesn't it? Okay, I'll try another one. Ooh, that is a function, isn't it?
But it doesn't pass the continuity.
But it doesn't pass the continuity guarantee at the beginning. So the premise is it's continuous. You can't draw a continuous function that gets from here to here without passing through every value that's there. You can't. As opposed to writing out all the jargon that goes with it, I'm just going to describe it like that. And so the application is quite simple for us. It says in this situation, for example, suppose we want to explain why this function has a 0 over the given interval. A 0 means it crosses the x-axis. We've talked about zeros before in other classes, in our college algebra class. So we want to show that this thing for sure has a 0 on this interval. Well, first of all, this is a polynomial, and polynomials are continuous. So they just spit out numbers, they never have any weird behavior. To show that this is going to have a 0, I'm going to check what is the location of the function at -2. So I plug in -2 and I get, what is -2 cubed?
-8.
-8 plus -2.
-2 plus 2, so it'll just be -8.
-8, good. And then I'm going to check f of 1. 4. So let's see what this says. Look at what I did. I know it doesn't seem like I did anything confusing. Everybody's saying, well, you just plugged in 2 values. I checked to see, does the function start below the x-axis?
Yeah.
Does it end up above the x-axis?
Yes.
So does it have to cross?
Yes.
Because the IVT guarantees a 0. So we invoke the term IVT. Now that was really important when all of us used to take the AP Calculus exam. The IVT, intermediate value theorem, was invoked in probably 2 situations on the AP exam, and this is the time that we brought it up. But so I show it starts below and above, and then because it's continuous, the IVT guarantees it has to equal 0 at some point. Simple as that. Take out your calculator.
Actually, it is out.
What?
I don't know.
I'm looking fried today.
I'm just laughing. I need to go there.
You look like you're baking in an incubator.
I am.
She's
I'm just kidding. This class is
she's
fun.
literally bacon in an incubator.
I don't think I'm smoking.
You're bacon. Bacon.
Nevaeh probably didn't appreciate all the point stuff yesterday. That's why she didn't show up.
You're right.
That's what she told
Well,
me.
Evie is literally bacon.
Bacon and
She's
eggs.
yeah, that's what I've been saying.
All right, we're going to use
That's what
our
I've
calculator
been
to help
saying.
us in this
Yeah,
scenario.
I know it was bacon. Bacon.
Does anybody here know what the sign of 0 is?
1.
Okay, so I hear 1 and I hear 0. If we look at this coordinate right there, 1, 0 is x is assigned the x value or the y value? The y value. So the sign of 0 is 0. We'll do a little bit of reviews of trig like that for a while here, and then we'll do a little bit larger of a trig review. But once you get used to those trig things, they come up a lot in this class. So 3 times 0 is 0 plus 1 is 1. There we go. 5 pi over 4, how many degrees?
145.
225, very good, 225.
I was not.
Anybody know the terminal point there at 225?
No.
-2/2.
Oh.
Good.
Just,
Again, we'll review that, but those are things that we want to be able to come up with. So we have 3 times the -√2/2. Or you could just go to your calculator if you ever get really confused by it. And as we quit that, I'm going to type in 3 times the sine of 5 pi divided by 4, and I'm going to add 1 to that result. And that should give me an output, and it does, of -1.12. So in this situation, I started above the x-axis, I ended up below.
Guys, I didn't get that on my calculator.
Are you in radians?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait.
So you're taking 3 and it's also
Oh my
multiplying
gosh, I've
by
been
1.
in radians.
I'm trying to do another one.
We need to get rid of that right now.
Oh.
Okay. So if I start above and then I drop below, is there a 0? Yes. The IVT guarantees a 0. We have example 2 and example 3 is it, so we'll probably get example 2 done before the bell. We'll see about example 3, but then you guys will have time to work. Verify the IVT guarantees that there is a 0, and then find the 0 by using a graphing calculator. So we're going to teach you how to use a graphing technology in this situation, but first I want to do f of -1. I have a polynomial, it is continuous, check. I plug in -1, -1 to the 4th is 1. Minus -1 squared is 1. Plus 1 is 1. Very good with that. And now I'm going to do f of 2. If I plug in 2, I get 2 to the 4th is 16. Minus 4 plus 1, or 13.
Oh, it doesn't cross the thing.
What?
It's possible that it does have a 0. It starts at 1 and ends up at 13. I suppose it could go down and come back up, but it doesn't have to cross over 0, does it? Doesn't have to. So because you don't switch from positive to negative, the IVT does not apply. Whoop.
What does IVT mean?
The intermediate value theorem.
What? Okay.
Look at letter B. Is letter B discontinuous at any spot?
Yes.
Where?
At the middle.
Negative
Or-
2.
At -2, right? Is -2 part of that interval? No. So although this isn't continuous everywhere, it is continuous on the interval. So the intermediate value theorem will apply. So we go ahead and we do f of -1 and we do f of 2. -4 divided by 1 is -4, plus 3 is -1. So the first value spits out a negative. I then plug in 2. I get -4 over 4, which is -1, plus 3 is 2. So does there have to be a 0?
Yep.
There does. The intermediate value theorem will guarantee it. When we get back from your lunch break, we are then going to use our calculator and find it. So we will pause there. If anybody sees Nevaeh, tell her that we're concerned. She's missing really important stuff, isn't she?
Super.
Trying to read your shirt here.
Never fail. It's music.
Music camp. Band camp. Orchid Orc. I can say it. I've got all Orchid Orcs in my family. I got 3 kids.
I've actually never heard that
I'm
one.
a huge orchestra.
Oh, Hannah, I
Play
won't
the
be on
strings. Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, living Hannah broke out.
We got mostly band geeks in here, though, don't we?
Yeah.
No, I'm
I was
not.
there.
I used to
What
go
is happening?
Wait, we're not
What?
friends
play the
anymore?
trombone for a quarter in
Cool.
6th grade.
Max is. He's a band guy. We got
Max?
Nevaeh.
Brecken.
Breck is a band guy.
No.
I'm in
he's
drum
orchestra.
line.
I have no clue.
You're in orchestra too, are you? Or
For
you?
sure. Yeah, sure.
Symphonic.
Axel's in band.
Okay.
Evie, Nevaeh.
Told you we got a lot of them.
Axel.
Yeah, nice job.
Gunner.
How smart you are.
Yeah, that's
Gunner's in
yeah.
band. You too. Farrah, you're in orchestra, right? Yeah. That's what I thought.
Problem with that though is it's an estimation, right?
It is. Obviously, you can see that that converts to -2/3, right? We can find it exactly by solving algebraically. It's really not that bad, but I want to show you.